Oi. Seems like it's like not focused, but all right, whatever. Maybe it's fine. Get is user checklist malformed. So we have the user checklist and the specific checklist, user checklist, specific checklist. The first thing to do, so this is going to be returning a Boolean. Let me type that return signature. Okay. If there is not a user checklist, we consider it malformed, yeah. Now that there is a user checklist, we want to make sure the keys match. I don't have keys. What do I have? User checklist items, sort. I kind of want to make a set out of these. Okay, so if I sort these, then I'll be able to guarantee, so A through Z, but then there might be some additional ones on the other. Okay, so now I have the text set, specific checklist item text set. Yeah, const user text set. Yeah, and I really just want to make sure that the text sets are equal. Okay. For item of user checklist item text set. So in every case, so the size is equal and it has all of them. That's an equality check. We're good. Now I can return false. Bam. Okay. Do I also want to check the URL? I think I do. So this is checking the size. Yeah, this time I want to use checklist items instead of the set. We can call it item, that's fine. So if the user checklist item text set doesn't have that, return true. But now I want to check if user checklist item find. Let's get a reference to the actual item. So I have this reference to the actual item. Yeah, so here's the matching item. If there's not a matching item, that's a problem. And we're going to find it using the display text. So if there's not a matching item, that's a problem. But if there is a matching item, we're still not quite done. This would never be the case, right? So we're finding it by the fact that the display text does match. But here, I want to look at the link text. And the link URI. Cool, and now I feel good. Now I feel good. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Let's see if I can see the chat. Yeah, I guess there's no chat messages. That's probably why I'm not seeing anything. Is it blurry to y'all or is it kind of in focus? All right, so now we know that these are matching. So if the checklist is malformed, here's the checklist. The case that my test case here is the trial by fire. So I click this, bam. This is the old video. I need it to open up the new video. Let me go get the URL for the new video. Here's the trial by fire V2. Okay. So here's the trial by fire V2. Watch the trial by fire. So this will go to the checklist JSON. Checklists. Bam. So that is the updated URL there. Okay. And we just want to see that reflected here, basically. AABX is the ending. AA. Why does this say ID foobar? That's hilarious. Did I put that there? ID foobar? My Google Tag Analytics has ID foobar. Right, Command Shift F. Google Client ID. Okay. If I go to the public one, it's not gonna, that's just because it's an environment variable. So if I go here, there's no foobar on prod. Okay, that goofed me. So here, it's still the old one, right? So now, how do I make sure that my logic here is working? So if should, then here I will use the all-powerful console.log. Let's comment this. I'll just say, got here. The all-powerful got here log. Okay. All of this log dumping is super not helpful. Maybe I should figure out a way to silence that. So we're gonna do two of these, got here, zeros. and got here with 1s. It's all 0s and 1s at the end of the day. This object is way too big. Okay, so I might be pushing the logs out. So I want to silence debug logs. Blitz RPC. In blitz.js in local developer mode. How can I silence debug logs? Is that real? All right, so now let's go over here, refresh the page. It'll take a minute since we just, But now I'm still seeing the debug statements. Let's go to the Blitz docs, log level. I'm going to be that guy. We're going to say Blitz internally uses. Blitz internally use. Blitz internally use debug. Blitz internally uses the debug. Is it blurry for y'all? It looks like this camera, it looks kind of blurry to me, but whatever. I can't actually tell if that's impacting y'all or not. Can't directly access URLs. What? You're supposed to have browsing, dude. You don't have browsing anymore? All right, let me look at my environment variables. I'll take this off screen for 1 minute. Yeah, I don't have debug in there at all. Okay, so it's saying that it should work and I don't have the environment variables. Here's one other thing I can try before I throw in the towel. Let me go to my package JSON, npm run dev. So here's blitz dev. Here I can do debug like this. What was this piece? All right, how about that? So that's either gonna fix it or it's not. We'll go ahead and continue. Yeah, it's not fixing it. Bummer. I'll actually file an issue on Blitz for that. Oh, thanks for the like. Are you able to do more than one like on YouTube? I'm not sure. And is the camera kind of blurry for y'all? It looks to me like it is, but I don't know if that's impacting y'all or not. All right, so we'll just deal with having big old logs. That's fine. So if logging isn't going to work, then we would need to try a debugger, I guess. Yeah. All right, so let's open up a debug terminal. So here's a debug console. Let's see. I can just use a debugger keyword. And I'll add another one here. That's fine. So with those, click the debug. We can debug on dev. That sounds good to me. Okay. I guess we're rolling. It'll take a minute since it's a local debug server. It'll take a minute to sort of compile the code in memory. All right, now we're cooking. So we got here, right? Let's go over to our terminal, debug console, here we are. Should upstart if malformed is true, user checklist is a real thing. And this combination is false. Okay, so if the combination is false, I should be able to get to the trial by fire v2. So let me just continue. All right, whatever. Hit the play button. So is this v2? No, it's still v1. All right, so something is amok. Something is amok. Let's refresh. Does the debugger trip again? It should. Okay, I guess we're here again. That's good. So let me look at the specific checklist. So the specific check, oh, you know what? I never mutated the checklist in place. This is on me. All right, I got it. So let me kill this. I'll comment these, detach the debugger, comment these. We can, yeah, we need to update this. In place. I never ran this magic command. Python checklist wasn't found. Okay, so we can deal with that. So what to do here? Should I just go ahead and create the thing? I think it's fine to just create the thing. I'm not really sure why do I want to throw this error. This is an update checklist in place. Why do I want to throw this error? I'll do console.warn. Checklist not found, creating now. So instead of an error, we'll turn it into a warning. I think that's fine. So we will create it. Then it shouldn't have a where clause. We don't need an include clause. Oh, I guess we do for the type. Map does not exist on checklist. We can include it anyway, it's just going to be empty, right? That's fine. So here, the data, we need to populate the data. Name. Pretty much just need the name. Name. Checklist data dot name. Do I need the version? Maybe I do. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, all right, let's try this again. Whoa, why do we have a loop going on? That was way too many things. For checklist data of checklists, okay. Checklist is checklist schema.parse unverified. Here's the unverified list. Raw data is reading off a file path. And we do file of files. So there's 2 files, right? That's good. There's 2 files. So y'all got way more information in there than I expect. You really don't though, right? Like this is basically what I expect. Oh, this is really messed up, huh? Yeah, this is really messed up. Okay, yeah, and all of these things are like advanced, advanced, advanced. So this is not backed up correctly, basically. Okay, well, we found the issue. So I'll copy this and make a backup. All right, then we'll come over here and just keep the latest one. I think it's sorted ascending on date. So 2023-10-1 is, I guess, the newest and coolest. 2023-10-1, 2023-10-1, and then 7. All right, so I don't know, I don't know where there's so many versions, but whatever. Let's kill all the higher versions. Okay, now I'll go to my database. And go to the checklist tab. Okay, that's not too bad, actually. I guess it didn't create like 1,000 versions of it like I was scared about. It looks like it just ran over the same version over and over, which is not necessary, but also like not the worst thing in the world. But let's try this again, and it should be faster. Yeah. Okay. All right, so fine. This is the one that I really care about. This trial by fire should end in the substring Q on the URL. Here we are creating so let's go verify that it works, and then I can commit this stuff. Now we're ending in the substring Q. Okay, so it worked. So we were able to get the latest version. That's weird though, right? That's weird because I never updated it here. So why did that happen? All right, so we can make a separate issue, which is to eagerly delete those, because right now we're deleting them just in time, which works, but it's not a super high priority. Okay. New checklist item data. Do we delete? Delete. So this is going to create so this is going to find many. These are the checklist items. Cool. So here, user checklists for each. So we're finding all of the checklists where it matches on ID. This should just be one. Why would this ever be more than one? Oh, because they could have different versions. So this is going to update all of the versions? No, that's not right. So this is going to find first order by created at. So this is just getting the latest one. And I think we should do the same for the user checklists. We should just only deal with the one that matches on the version. Yeah, in fact, I'm inclined to like cancel this really. Do we want to update all of the user checklists right now, or do we want to do it sort of like just in time for the user? It is a tricky question. You get some latency for the user. So the user will have like an invalid one. I don't really like that hanging around the database. All right, so what do we do here? Update user checklists. This is not what I want to do. I want to update user. Yeah, that's tricky. Update user checklists, meaning the user checklist for each user, not all of the user checklists for each user. So we're going to find unique where checklist ID is checklist.id and checklist and version is checklist version. Okay, so this is the issue, right? The issue is that the database doesn't have the unique constraint, is it? Let's look at the schema. User checklist. So here's the user ID and the checklist ID. One user ID, one checklist ID. This is not a good constraint. This is not a good constraint. This means a user cannot have different versions of the checklist. Unless, hold on, let's look. Is the checklist already unique by ID? It's already unique by ID. So really, I should not be using this version thing, actually. The ID is already a versioner. All right, so that will be, we'll convert this issue. So we'll leave this for now, but we're going to get rid of that basically. And so this is my unique identifier. It's just the ID. And a user, there can only be one intersection between the user and the checklist ID. Okay, so if there can only be one intersection between the user and the checklist ID, then I just don't need version here at all. okay? So here, oh, I was just gonna find the items and not find the user checklist, huh? No, I don't like that approach. I want to cascade delete the checklist items. So here's the user checklist. How do I get the relation? So there's the user checklist. It is checklist ID. Okay. Where checklist ID? Why is it not considered unique? Well, it's unique for a user. Okay. Checklist ID. So the combination is unique. User checklist where unique input. Let's find this. Yeah, okay. It's a syntax difference. User ID, checklist ID. User ID, checklist ID is a number. What? Are you for sure? It is an object. That makes way more sense. Okay, so user ID, checklist ID. There we go. So here's the user ID checklist. And yeah, I need to pass through the user ID. Oh, the intent is to do this for each user. Golly. So we're gonna find all of the user checklists and we are going to delete their for each user check for, yeah, wait, delete many. Yeah, now does the user checklist item directly refer to a checklist item? It does. So this would just go through and delete all of the old checklist items, and then they would have no items on them. That's okay, we'll make them. So now we're going to create many. User checklist item, create many, new checklist items data. Is that just to enable performance basically? It's hard to read is the issue. So this is going to, for each user checklist, we're going to delete the old ones. Yeah, we can just do these together. Okay. Here's the new checklist items data. To create many input. Yeah, okay, so the whole thing is to let us use this create many approach. So we delete many user checklist items, but now I want to user checklist item. Now I want to create many. Can I do this? Create checklist. This is a checklist item. user ID is missing. Okay, I think we can fix that. Right? What else? Checklist item ID. Checklist item ID. Could be undefined, could it? Well, that's true. That's true. So we only need to fix that one time though. New checklist items. New checklist items. Yep. Done creating new items. To create many input and so they have an ID at this time. Thanks for the like. So how would this even come up now? It shouldn't. That would only come up if there was an error like updating there was an error updating the user checklist. Oh, Matthew Sabu, what up? You think learning Spring Boot is worth it? It can be. Yeah, Spring Boot's pretty solid. I mean, where are you at in your career and stuff? But yeah, it can be worth it. So I think I don't need any of this stuff actually. Is latest version. Sophomore in college, majoring in CS, trying to learn Spring Boot by myself, but I don't know if it's worth it. Yeah, if you're still in college, I mean, you don't necessarily need it in terms of like for a junior role, definitely not. Any tips for someone trying to get into purely backend? Yeah, my tip is don't. My tip is don't. So the main job families are front end, back end, full stack, and mobile. So like, why are you just picking one of them? I mean, but if you just want to go back end, I mean, it is true that like Java is probably the best way to go. Here, let's double check on that. Go to Indeed.com. Java. So you got like 40K jobs, right? And now you can compare C++. There's fewer jobs. C#, fewer jobs. I mean, it's really hard to search for Go because that's used in so many things, but you can search for Golang, but yeah. So, I mean, if you are trying to be just purely backend, yeah, go ahead and learn Spring Boot. So it'll help you a little bit. So I can say Java or Spring Boot. And that goes up from 40, what? From 46 to 47. But it also just makes you better as a Java developer. That's true. But now if you look at JavaScript or React, it's about the same number. Yeah, it's about the same number. But if you want to look at like or full stack or front end, back end, full stack, that's going to be more options. I guess my tips for Java would be the standard things. I mean, have a bit of a portfolio, do your interview prep, do your social networking. What pathway do you recommend someone like me to go for? Someone like you is like purely backend, you're saying? I mean, you already said the pathway, right? But yeah, in general, I recommend people go for full stack in general, just because it gives you the most options, and then specialize later. What do you do at your job? My day job? Yeah, I'm a backend developer. Backend developer at my day job. The project I'm working on right here, this is like a side project. This is full stack. The problem is though, I'm a senior. So you can't just say, hey, like, what do you do, and do the same thing? Because you need to learn the foundational skills first. So like a backend developer is a specialization. That's the thing. So you want to get your junior job first and specialize later. You don't want to prematurely specialize. It cuts down your options. Someone like me, I'm a senior, I can do it because seniors are in high demand, so I can do that. Does that make sense? Like it's harder for a junior to get a job than a senior. Who, me? So you recommend me to do full stack first? Yeah, I would. I would. Hello.
Do you want to watch one show with me?
Sure. All right, Matt, thanks for dropping by. I'm going to go watch some shows. See ya.